Hello everyone, we are in Carmichael, California right now, and we have our duck number 31, and we are at a place that I used to live about 33 years ago. It's actually quite handy because it's right down the street from a bus stop and everything. Well, I moved to this place when I was pregnant with my second son. So my ex-husband was, for whatever reason, actually got caught doing something with a bad check. So he was in jail for a very, very short period of time. So during this period of time, I moved here because we were living in a one-bedroom apartment, and in order to have my son, we were not allowed to stay in that one-bedroom apartment. We had to move. So I moved to this place. This place actually has, let me go over here real quick, 5 stories. And when I moved here, things were nice, and my ex had gotten out of jail. But of course, just like any other drug addict, he quickly found where to find crank and all that stuff. So it didn't take him very long to go back to using drugs. There was a couple drug dealers. There was actually a drug dealer that lived in the apartments that at one point actually took formula from him because he told her that my son no longer needed it. Well, that was not the case. I actually went over to her house and her apartment and told her, and she actually stopped selling to him. Well, that didn't matter, because guess what? If a drug user is going to use drugs and they want to use drugs, they're going to find drugs no matter where they go. So he ended up going across the street and finding a drug dealer named Bam Bam, who was a biker drug dealer. Kind of scary looking, big dude. So no matter what I did, it really sucked. It was another sucky time in my life. And things got so bad that when I was still pregnant with my son, my second son before I had him, we actually lived on the 5th floor. And to be honest, I actually had those thoughts. I had the thought of, okay, well, I can't take this anymore. I'm done. I can't handle anything. I couldn't handle the verbal abuse. I couldn't handle the abuse. I had actually called Weave Up, and that's a place that helps people escaping violent environments. And because at that particular time, it was only financial, verbal, and emotional abuse. Well, because it wasn't physical at that time, which it soon later became, they would not help me at all. So with that, knowing that, not having any friends to really talk to, because with my ex, I kind of stopped talking to all my friends. My mom wouldn't be able to, she'd freak out if I told her anything. My dad would have gotten angry, so I had no one to talk to. So being on the 5th floor, looking outside my balcony, I really thought of jumping. And finally, I talked myself out of it because I had a son who was going to be born. I was pregnant, and my other son, who was just a little over a year old. And so they are the reason I am still here today. And thank God, because even though things were really, really bad bad back then. I'm so very thankful that I didn't jump. Because if I did jump, I wouldn't have been able to have the amazing life that I have now. I have a wonderful husband. We've been married for 17 years. And I have 3 wonderful boys. And life is so very much better. And when you're at that point where you're about to give up your life, you can't see the future. There's no way to see how things are going to turn out. You just know what's happening to you right then. And life sucks. A few other things about this place. There was a lot of things that happened. So, as I said, my ex went to using drugs. Well, we had a car, and he actually got pulled over for being under the influence. And to be honest, those cops actually searched his car. They searched his car. They found nothing. They even took it to a tow yard and all that stuff, and I had to have our next door neighbor get it out of the impound. You know, I found those drugs really fast. It's unfortunate that he was able to get away with what he got away with, but what am I going to do? I was just hopeless at that time. Little an incident too with Bam Bam, which is the name of that biker drug dealer. There was a time where I was in an argument with my ex, which I call Satan, by the way. And I had actually closed myself off in the bedroom with my boys and had it locked. And it had been a while, and there was a knocking at the door, and I thought it was Satan. And actually, it was that drug dealer from across the way wanting his money. And my ex had actually went out the back door, and went into the next apartments. And it was terrifying to know that I opened up a door in my bedroom to find a drug dealer. Pretty scary stuff, and I don't want to ever have to do that again. Guess what? I'm never going to ever have to do that again. There's so many different more stories for this place, but I'm going to let you guys go for now. But the moral of the story is there is a light. You know, sometimes we just don't see it, and it's just really hard when we're in that dark place. But don't forget, there is a light for you guys. Just keep going for it, and you've got this. Love y'all. Bye.